everyone, and welcome to Fluffy's Kitchen. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about pork. I know that pork is off the subject for a lot of people, but actually I eat chicken a whole lot, and I know some of you guys eat a whole lot of chicken too. So today what we're going to be doing is cooking stewed pork or smothered pork chops. I know some other cultures. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a light coating of my salt-free seasoning that I like so much, a light coating of garlic powder, a light coating of black pepper, and a light coating of adobo. I want to say about maybe a tablespoon of each. You could go a little bit lighter on the black pepper if you do not like spicy. I like spicy and I like black pepper. So what you want to do is you want to put a light sprinkling of all of that on one side of the pork chops. And then you're going to go ahead and massage it into the pork chops and massage it into both sides. Once you're done with that, as you've seen, I've already done that. Once you've done with that, you're going to go ahead and chop up your fresh seasonings, which is your tomatoes, your onions. And into this recipe, I'm going to be adding some ginger, some fresh ginger, because I love the taste with the pork. So, I'm roughly chopping those things. As you can see, they're very chunky because I'm going to be stewing down the pork chops, so I don't want all my seasonings to just disappear. Okay? Now at this point, what you want to do is you want to go ahead, let me swing the ahead, and you want to have your frying pan on the fire. You want to go ahead and add about a tablespoon of vegetable oil, olive oil depending on your choice, canola oil, sesame seed oil, whatever oil you like. You want to make sure that your pot is quite warm. Oh, if you do not like using oil, you can also use like maybe a cooking spray, Pam, Healthy Way, whatever. But for this, I'm just going to go ahead and use regular oil. Okay, so what you want to do now is you want to go ahead and place your pork chops into the frying pan so that you can brown it. I went ahead and put 2 pork chops in based on the size of my skillet. If you have a bigger skillet, you can put more. I'm going to turn my fire up now, and I'm going to go ahead and let that brown. Okay, so at this point, we're done browning our pork chops. And by browning, as you can see, let me put that in a close-up, or maybe I can't. The pork chop just has a little color. The pork chop is not safe to eat right now because it's not cooked. All I did was give it some color. So at this point, you can either use your Pam spray or your Healthy Way, or you can go ahead and add about a tablespoon of your preferred oil to your pot, a little bit. I'm going to add about a tablespoon of oil. Let that heat up. And then I'm going to go ahead and add my seasonings. You want to be doing all of this in about medium heat because you don't want your seasonings to burn. Okay, so now that we have the seasonings added into the pot, I know I said I was not going to add any fresh garlic, but I changed my mind. That's the beautiful thing about cooking. Oop. You can always change your mind. So I went ahead and I added in my fresh garlic. So, I have my seasoning going. It's almost, you want to go ahead and saute your onions, your garlic, your ginger, and your tomatoes until they're almost like translucent. Let me see if I can show you that. You see how you can almost see through the onions? Not quite. Well, that's what you're looking for. I'm going to go ahead and maybe add a little bit more seasoning if you would like. I like to add my seasoning to my fresh tomatoes. I like to add dry seasoning to my fresh seasoning, like my tomatoes and my onions. I don't like to really add anything else extra on top of the meat. Okay. Just a sprinkle of black pepper. I told you guys I really love that pepper. And I'm adding a little bit more of that salt-free seasoning. Just a coating. Because I'm going to add water to this mixture, so I want it to have, you know, some flavor. Okay, so my seasoning is about where I want it to be. I let that cook for like maybe 3 minutes. So at this point, I'm going to be adding my pork chops. If your pork chops are extremely big, you can go ahead and cut them in two like I have with some of, Point is add about 2 cups of water. What I'm going to do is add my water here in my little small saucepan. So, you want to add enough water so that it comes to maybe 3/4 of your way up the pot. What's going to happen is that's going to actually cook out. That water is going to actually cook out. So, don't worry about the amount of water. You can then add a little butter. But because I fried it, I'm actually not going to add the butter. But you could add a little butter. You could go ahead and just disturb the seasoning on the bottom. Once this is cooked down and the meat is fully cooked, it will be easier to manipulate. Okay, so at this point you want to turn, well, my fire is already on medium high, and you can go ahead and cover that pot. So that's just going to stay there and it's going to simmer. While I'm doing that, I'm going to go ahead and prepare the side for this meal, which is going to be a garlic mashed potato, because I'm not really in the mood for rice today.
If I wrote a book about where we stand,